I have been doing both a budget plan and a budget recap for the past 6 consecutive months. So this video will be my 6th month doing this recap, which is really the most important part of budgeting. And I can safely say that it has changed the way that I think about money and my life in general. So I'm going to share with you 6 surprising things that I've learned from doing this, as well as my June recap and my July budget, and I hope this will give you inspiration to take a closer look at your own finances. So if you're interested in that, stick around. I have been on YouTube for 4 years. My first video was in January of 2015, and I've been making videos kind of on and off ever since then. And I started with the idea that this would be a personal finance channel because that was what I was most interested in learning about, and that's been the direction of the channel from the beginning. However, I have not been consistent in uploading budget videos, or really of doing and sticking to my budget, even though this is a personal finance channel. So I have not been practicing what I've been here to preach. However, this is the year, 2019 is the year that changes, because this month, June, marks the 6th month that I've done a full budget plan and recap. These are the 6 things that I have learned in those 6 consecutive months. And I know it's 6 months isn't super long, but for me, it is long because it's the longest I've ever done it. So it's all relative. It's all sort of, finance is a very personal thing. So however this sort of fits into your financial landscape, let that be. So I'm going to share with you these 6 things, and then I'm going to share my June recap and my July budget going forward. So here are the 6 things. Number 1, for me personally, avoid the buy now, return later mindset. Really, avoid the buy now, anything later mindset. And this came into play specifically, you guys saw last month when I bought a bunch of shoes thinking, oh, I'll just buy them all and then return what I don't need. Not a good idea, because it tied up money that I needed for something else, and it threw off my whole budgeting, it threw off my mindset, it threw off my motivation. And really, those are the most important things for me in keeping my finances clean and in order and strict, and really, I guess clean is the best way to call it. So avoid it. Avoid anything later mindset when it comes to money. Number 2, ruthless savings to spend on what you love. Now, this was really brought home to me when I took a look at my activities and where I was spending my money, and I kind of for the better. I saw this transform for the better, because I had been making and bringing my lunch to work almost every day in June. You guys saw my frugal for your future Fridays. I had been making my lunch consistently, and except for the one time that I went out with my coworker, that was again a wonderful experience. That was something that I valued and I enjoyed. The money that I saved from doing that almost went specifically into another activity that I couldn't have planned. So I have a friend who's a dancer, and she messaged me kind of out of the blue and was like, hey, would you be interested in seeing Jane Eyre, the ballet? It's only in town for 3 days. Would you want to go? And I'm like, sure. It's APT. It was at Lincoln Center. And I'm like, let's do it. So what's the cost? So she was able to get, she said that sort of the balcony, like whatever, top of the rack seating was $25. But that we could spring an extra $10 and go for rush tickets on the day of the performance. So we did that for $35. So she bought our tickets. I treated us to a drink and an appetizer before the concert, and it was a beautiful experience. And it was probably one of the best things I've done in the past 6 months. And I know that the money I saved from bringing my lunch every day allowed me to have that amazing experience with my friend in this ballet that was only in town for a few days. So I saw very, very clearly that I was able to spend on what I love because I had been so ruthless with the things that I don't care about. Like a lunch I'm eating while I'm working, who cares, right? But taking that 40 minutes on a Saturday or Sunday night to prepare allowed me to experience greater things down the road. So that's number 2. Number 3, spend money where your values are, very clearly. So this is a big one because I was playing with a volunteer orchestra, and I decided not to play the concert, but I wanted to go to attend the concert and to support them. So I was able to do that on the 1st, and I had built into my sort of miscellaneous spendings, miscellaneous category, enough money for a ticket and parking in the city. So those 2 things allowed me to to spend money where I enjoyed it, which is to support my friends who are in the arts. And that felt like that was so powerful because it allowed me to say, this is where I think it's important. This is where my dollars are going to go. This is where I'm going to put them to work. I found that super powerful. Number 4, this is the power of no spend days. Now, I am kind of guilty of this. I've said in the past that I'm not a big fan of no spend months, no spend anything, because I'm like, just work it into your budget. Don't deprive yourself, which is true. However, the value of a no spend anything is that it forces you to be really strict with yourself and to say, I'm not going to do anything frivolous. I am going to stick to my spending plan. So the value of a no spend day for me is to say this day is going to be completely clean of anything that's not planned. This month I had 12 no spend days. Spoiler alert. I thought for me that's like a personal record. So thumbs up. Number 5, and this is so important. Time is my most valuable asset. Time is your most valuable asset. And I'm really learning this by looking at my numbers and my money and seeing that you can buy a lot of things, but you can't buy back time. So the more time you can save, the better your life will be. And this really comes into play when I think about where I save money and how much it costs me to save money. Am I really going to drive to 3 different stores to save, 29 cents on some, cucumbers or celery? No, I'm not going to do that because my time is worth more than that. So really valuing time as my most valuable asset, learning that has been invaluable. And number 6, this is really important, and this kind of leads me into how my budget recaps are going to change going forward. Simplicity is key. Keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Because simplicity really allows you to focus on things that matter most. The more you can automate and systematize things in your life that aren't super important, the more you can take away decisions that don't need to be made or make them in advance, the more you're able to spend your mental resources on things that do matter to you. So that's number 6, simplicity is key. So these are the 6 things that I've learned from my 6 months doing both a budget plan and a budget recap, and I am now going to take you into my budget recap for June. So along the theme of simplicity being key, I am going to only focus on recapping these 5 key categories because things like housing and insurance and utilities, they're pretty standard. And unless something like pretty big happens, and believe me, I will tell you, something really big happens, I'm just going to track my variable spending because that's really where I have the most leverage right now. I can't do too super much about my housing. I can't do too much about my utilities. My insurance is what it is. I can shop around, but again, time is money. And am I really going to spend that much time to shop? I think my rate's pretty competitive right now for auto insurance. That may change. I may decide to invest some time investigating that, but for right now, that's not the key. So just to keep it simple and to value my time and your time, I'm going to only track my variable spending in these 5 categories: gas, groceries, transportation, food out, and miscellaneous. Now, someone had also posted a comment asking how much I allocate for things like entertainment. Good question, because that would go into the miscellaneous fund. So this month, my miscellaneous included things like parking for the concert, parking the concert ticket, and also we were able to visit as a family a national park in Virginia. So that was also worked into my miscellaneous spending, and you will see how much I spent miscellaneously for this month. So stay tuned for my numbers coming up for the month of June. Alrighty, here is my budget recap for June. In the area of gas, I had budgeted $200. I only spent $180. This was a small miracle, especially considering my mom and I went on a road trip to go visit my sister. We met her in Virginia. She's now in Tennessee, but we met in the middle. And we put a lot of miles on the car, and I only spent $180 in gas, which was amazing. Gas down in Virginia was super cheap. I think it was $2.35 a gallon. Up here in New Jersey, we pay $2.55 a gallon, so that was a huge win. That was a variance of plus 10%, so huge savings there. In the area of groceries, now this shocked me. I was like, are you sure? But I went back over my bank statements to make sure. I had budgeted $200 and I only spent $162, which is a variance of 19%. That's fantastic, considering, again, we were kind of on a vacation. We had rented a house with my sister and her fiance, and $162 for groceries is all I spent for the whole month. Now, I can say I also, and that's for 2 people, for me and my mom, I did a few budget saving things. I had a lot of like shop in the pantry evenings. We had a lot of pasta only, like box pasta dinners. I've really been focusing on cooking cheaper things. We do eat a lot of veggies, fresh foods, but we almost buy no meat, except for kind of rare occasions, because we're both pretty plant-based at the moment. So 162 when I budgeted 200, I'll take that as a win as well. The next category is transportation. I had allocated $50. I actually spent $56 because I went in for an oil change and ended up getting my tires rotated as well. Glad I did that. So it was a 12% variance, not too bad. Food out. I knew this was going to go over. I didn't know by how much. I'm okay with it. I did go over. I had budgeted $175. I actually spent $266, which is a difference of 52%. I'm okay with that because that included A, the dinner with my friend, B, time out with my sister and her boyfriend, and they actually treated us, with her fiance, excuse me, they treated us a few nights, and I gave her cash kind of on the run to even out. So we would go back and forth, and she understands that I'm on a pretty strict spending plan, and we understand that they're not, you know, whatever they do what they do. But it was a time to relax and spend time together, and again, that is your most valuable asset. And I just kind of chose to let it be. When there was a budget-friendly option, I would choose it. Otherwise, I would enjoy the time with her, and I felt like that allowed me to just relax and be really, really peaceful, which is the goal of any really good vacation. So, mission accomplished. In the area of miscellaneous spending, I had allocated roughly $268, and this is a great one. I came in at only $116, so that's a variance of plus 56%, which is great. Because, and again, what that includes, that does include my entertainment. That includes anything like random stuff that I would need, like if I needed new socks or new, you know, contact solution, anything I can't throw in the grocery category, I will put in the miscellaneous, but I will also put things like parking for events, pass, you know, park pass costs, things like that. And again, because in Virginia, we were right by the beach, so we really didn't need to pay much, if anything, for entertainment. It was just a beautiful kind of low-key chill time with her, so that really took care of a lot of all of our entertainment expenses. So miscellaneous, I came in under by 56%, which is another win in my book. So overall, in those 5 categories, I came in at a net win of about 20%. So I'm feeling okay for June. I'm feeling really positive and encouraged that this recap process has totally worked. It's not been easy, let me say, like it gets pretty tedious, but I've already kind of gotten into the habit of writing down and keeping track of everything I spend, just because it gives me a lot of clarity, and I really like that a lot. So I think that's something that I would continue doing just, you know, because that's who I am. However, I would love to get to a point where I don't need to be so super hyper focused. I think awareness is always a good thing to have. Never a bad thing to have more awareness. But I think the point where you're kind of like nickel and diming things, I would love to get to a point where that doesn't matter so much, and where my assets are kind of self-replenishing. That is the goal. So as far as how long I would continue this process, I think that it is a great tool. For me, it's a great vehicle to get me where I want to go, which is ultimately financial independence, like complete financial independence. So this is my tool and my vehicle to get there. So thank you so much for watching. I am super excited to be making this video, and I'm so excited that you're watching. If you've made it this far, a thumbs up, and thank you so much for spending your time with me. That really means so much. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. I read all the comments. I heard all the comments. I will try to respond if I can. If I have a good answer, if I don't have a good answer, I just give you a heart. So again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, I hope you will keep watching.